Most men cannot remember the last time they woke up rested, and over 60% are missing the sleep their bodies desperately need. Nightly screens, endless work, and a world that never shuts off have rewired our biology, leaving a generation of men in a silent state of constant exhaustion. If the phrase "just being tired" feels like your new normal, there is more at stake, and the reasons might shock you. 6 out of every 10 American adults are falling short of the sleep they need. The number is staggering, but behind it are millions of individual stories, men who lie awake night after night watching the hours slip by. In surveys, nearly 4 in 10 adults say they struggle to fall asleep at least 3 nights a week. Almost half wake up repeatedly, never quite sinking into deep rest. For men between 18 and 45, these restless nights are not rare. They are routine. The world outside is always on. City lights burn through apartment windows. Phones blink with late-night messages, and alarms drag men out of bed before their bodies are ready. Sleep is not just lost to work or stress. It is eroded by habits that feel normal, scrolling through news feeds, answering emails long after midnight, or binge-watching shows until eyes blur. Even when men do get a few hours, the quality is thin. 37% say they are dissatisfied with their sleep. 38% wake up feeling just as tired as when they went to bed. It is not just a bad night here and there. It is a quiet crisis that shapes every morning. In a country where 70 million adults live with a sleep disorder, exhaustion has become invisible, woven into the fabric of daily life. 3 men, a remote worker, a night shift driver, and a new father each describe the same thing: a bone-deep tiredness that never fully lifts, no matter how hard they try to catch up. The numbers are clear, but the reality is lived in every heavy eyelid and every unfinished dream. Blue light pours from every phone, tablet, and laptop, reaching deep into the night. What feels like harmless scrolling or one last email has a measurable effect on the body's internal clock. Screens emit blue wavelengths between 446 and 477 nanometers, the precise range that signals the brain to stay alert. Even dim light from a phone can delay melatonin release by over an hour, keeping the mind wired when it should be winding down. In lab studies, 2 hours with an LED tablet at bedtime cut melatonin by more than half, pushing sleep onset later and shrinking the total hours of rest. Younger men are especially sensitive to this effect, with melatonin suppressed more strongly than in older adults. But the problem is not just light. For men working rotating shifts or gig jobs, sleep happens when the schedule allows, not when the body is ready. The natural circadian rhythm, tuned by light and darkness, relies on regularity. Night shift drivers, for example, try to sleep during daylight, fighting biology every step of the way. Their bodies never fully adjust, and even after years, deep sleep remains elusive. For remote workers and side hustlers, late-night productivity blurs the line between day and night, scattering sleep across odd hours and erasing any hope of a stable cycle. These patterns are not random. They are built into daily routines, endless notifications, unpredictable work hours, and the glow of screens at midnight. The result is a biological tug of war, The world demands wakefulness, while the body pleads for rest. Sleep loss is not just a matter of willpower. It is the outcome of a world designed to keep men awake. A freelance software engineer sits at his kitchen table, toggling between code and his inbox, while a food delivery app pings with side gig requests. The clock blinks past midnight, but the work is far from over. For men like him, the line between job and life has dissolved. The expectation is constant. Answer messages instantly. Pick up extra shifts. Stay visible and available. There is no off switch. Remote work promised flexibility, but what it delivered was a world where the workday never really ends. Laptops in bed, Slack notifications at dinner, and a sense that if you are not hustling, you are falling behind. This is not just a matter of ambition or drive. It is survival. In a world of rising costs and insecure income, men take on second jobs, freelance contracts, or gig work to patch the gaps. A study from UT Health Houston found that workers with unstable income face a 50% higher risk of poor health and psychological distress compared to those with steady pay. The health toll is not limited to the lowest earners. It cuts across professions, hitting anyone whose paycheck swings from week to week. The pressure to always be on turn sleep into a luxury. Messages arrive at all hours. Algorithms and apps reward responsiveness and penalize silence. Even after the day is done, there is a nagging sense that someone somewhere is working harder. This is the logic of hustle culture. Exhaustion treated as proof of effort, and rest treated as a risk. For millions of men, fatigue is not a personal failure. It is the cost of keeping up in a system that never lets up. A night shift driver pulls into a gas station, rubbing his eyes as he grabs an energy drink from the cooler. For many men, this becomes routine, fueling the next few hours with caffeine and sugar as they try to outrun exhaustion. Ultra-processed foods, vending machine snacks, and energy drinks provide a quick fix, but the relief is short-lived. Blood sugar spikes bring a brief surge, then a hard crash, leaving men more depleted than before. Caffeine and stimulants mask tiredness, while the body keeps the score. Each can, each skipped meal, each late-night snack adds to a cycle that is hard to break. Sitting for 8 to 10 hours a day has become the norm, whether behind a wheel, at a desk, or on a couch after work. Movement often falls by the wayside, and the body's energy-making machinery slows down. Mitochondria, the power plants of our cells, work best when we move. Without regular activity, energy production drops and fatigue deepens. Sunlight, another key ingredient, goes missing for men who spend most waking hours indoors or on the road at night. The result is lower vitamin D, a slumped mood, and persistent tiredness. Deep inside, hormonal changes begin to take hold. Over the past few decades, average testosterone levels in men have declined, not only with age, but across generations. Poor sleep, constant stress, weight gain, and exposure to environmental chemicals all play a part. Low testosterone affects more than muscle and libido. It means less motivation, more brain fog, and a dull, steady drain on energy. What starts as a coping strategy, another energy drink or another late-night meal, ends up reinforcing the exhaustion men are trying to escape. The fatigue loop tightens, hidden in the small choices of every day. Stress is the silent engine behind the exhaustion that follows men from morning to night. In a global survey of over 30,000 people, more than half, 57%, named stress as the main reason they cannot sleep. Every ping from a phone, every headline about layoffs, every reminder of bills due acts like a spark to the nervous system. The body reacts the same way it would to a real threat. Heart rate climbs, muscles tense, and the brain floods with cortisol. Cortisol is meant to help in emergencies, but when it stays high day after day, sleep becomes a nightly battle. The mind keeps scanning for danger, even in the quietest room. Scrolling through news or comparing lives on social media only adds fuel. It keeps men locked in a cycle where stress disrupts sleep, and poor sleep makes stress harder to handle. The feedback loop tightens, and rest slips further out of reach. For many men, exhaustion is not just physical, it is emotional too. There is an unspoken rule that men should handle stress alone, keep quiet about their struggles, and push through without asking for help. Research shows men are far less likely than women to seek support when they are overwhelmed, even though bottling up emotions only deepens fatigue. The cost is real. Emotional suppression drains mental energy, raises stress hormones, and leaves the body in a constant state of alert. A new father describes reaching a breaking point. Nights spent awake with his infant, days spent at work, and nowhere to put the growing sense of burnout. It was not until he tried therapy, despite feeling embarrassed at first, that he found relief. Talking openly broke the cycle, letting him sleep better and recover energy he thought was gone for good. For men, breaking the silence is often the first real step toward recovery. Right now, over half of men live in a cycle of exhaustion that medicine alone cannot break. As screens and stress keep rising, fatigue becomes the silent baseline. Changing this means more than quick fixes. It means redefining how we value rest. The real risk is accepting tiredness as normal.